In this lesson, we'll begin creating the foundations for our arches. All right, so we're making some really good progress. So I'm going to jump to our get out of the wireframe view and jump to a shaded view and kind of check out the progress on our model here. We're doing some really good work here. We've got our connections in place, cables, our little vertebrae here on the bottom. So far so good. So what we need to do now is actually create the footing for each one of these guys on this side here. So the key to this footing is going to be, it's going to have to be beefy, it's going to have to be deep, but in my design, I want the exposed part of that footing to kind of follow the form of this arch here to create a nice dramatic look. So to do that, I'm going to set my first work plane, and we'll do that here. And we'll set that as our work plane, and we'll kind of work from the front. So when I'm building this footing, I need to take into account this walkway, but I also need to make this in such a way that these will actually be embedded into that footing. So I'm going to start mine up here, right at this corner. And we're simply going to draw across till about, we'll say 6 feet. Then I'll drop it down about, we'll say about 15 feet. Bring it right back across. I'll kind of exaggerate how it's going across there. Then we'll do the same thing here. So we'll go from this side, we'll go out 6 feet, bring it right back down. We'll make sure that corner is cleaned up a little bit later. Actually, we'll do it right now. I'm going to grab that point and snap it to that end point. So now we just need to finish off our line work here. So I need to finish off, my footing needs to go from this area to there, and I can drop this down, you know, quite a bit, and I can make that adjustment to that a little bit later. I'm not too worried about that. But I'm going to bring this right across, snap to that point, bring it up here, and we'll finish out that form. And we should be able to create our form at this point by selecting. I'm going to orbit around here. We'll go to Generate Form, and I'm going to push this out to a distance that I need it to be. So I'm going to grab this green line here, and we'll drag him out about 20 feet. So now what I need to do is I need to elevate these surfaces here so that this is embedded into that footing without blocking that walkway. So we're going to increase this distance here. We'll say we'll move it up to, let's go with 17 feet. We'll do the same thing to this surface. And I'm going to change that dimension to 17 feet. And that way, our structure is actually embedded into that. And we'll see if we need to do the same thing here on the bottom. Yeah, we definitely can stand to extrude that out. So we'll grab this face, and we'll bring it out, enough to get that embedded. We'll say 22 feet. And we are making some really good progress here. So I like where we're at. So now what I need to do is I need to extend out the edge of these slabs here. We'll say about 6 feet or so. And that'll be you'll figure out why once we load this into the project here. So I'm going to select, and I'm going to change this dimension to 6 feet. Bingo. We'll do the same thing on the other side here. So I'll go back around, tab on this face here. We'll extrude it out. We'll add 6 feet to that dimension. This should be 22 here. And I'll hit enter. So now we have our foundation in place on one side, but we need to make some adjustments to the sky. As I mentioned, I want this to kind of follow the sweeping of this arc here. So what we could do is I can grab this edge and just drop it down just a little enough to follow that. And I'll probably stop right there at that slab point. We'll do this exact same thing on this other side here. So make sure we grab the edge is what we're after. I'll go back and Control Y there. So I'm going to grab this edge. I'm going to tab till that edge is highlighted, strictly that edge. There it is. And I'm going to drop this down to about that point as well. So what we've created is our footing that's going to kind of follow that. And you can see I probably need to raise this up just a bit. This face can probably get raised up just so that element is buried in there nicely. Like so. And I'm happy with what we got so far. So now I'm just going to take this and mirror it to the other side. I don't want to have to go through this whole process of creating and forming this thing. So we're going to jump to our east elevation. I'm going to tab on this foundation until the entire thing is highlighted, and we're just going to mirror by selecting axis. We're going to select our midpoint. And that should shoot right across, and it did, and we can kind of orbit around here in 3D view. So I'm liking where we're at so far. So we could save where we're at here, and we're going to bring this into our project, into where our site is located, see if we can't get it to fit, and see if we can finish our project out there. So I'll see you in the next lesson.